Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to give you all the very first version of my newest settings for the most realistic gameplay so far in College Football 25. I will be updating this as the season progresses and other videos in the playlist, so check this out a few times a month to be up to date. Let me know how your gameplay has been going if you make the switch, and I hope you all enjoy. I wanted to keep this video quick, so I will walk you all through why I do these things pretty quickly as I scroll through these. First things first, set your settings to All-American. You can see here I have it on Heisman, so we're gonna go ahead and turn that to All-American for our dynasty, and then we're gonna set this to All-American for our dynasty. I promise you all will thank me for this later. If you don't believe me, go ahead, head over to Dynasty, play on Heisman, and go play FCS Midwest. And I promise you'll be back here in 15 minutes telling me I'm right. So starting off with the offense, we have quarterback accuracy. We let this at 50 because I feel like it's pretty difficult already for you to do it, especially if you're using the new revamped passing. Passing block is going to be at 52. I feel like we were getting pressured too much, so I'm turning this up just a hair. Wide receiver catching, run blocking, and fumbles are all going to stay the same. I feel like these have been providing good results on All-American. And then pass defense reaction time. This one's really critical because your defense is not going to react to anything at all if you leave it on 50. 58 might still be too low, but in version 2 we'll probably update it. But for right now, 58 works pretty well. We're playing as UTEP, so we're still pretty small school. We're still pretty not great on the defensive side, so we may have to update as well once we move on to bigger schools. Interceptions I turned down to 45 for us because we also turned down for the defense or the CPU. I didn't want us to have too much of an advantage, and it's still pretty easy to get interceptions by yourself if you're the user. And then pass coverage, you're going to have that at 58. Again, similar to the pass defense reaction timing. Your defense is going to be horrendous, especially your cornerbacks, especially if you're on the defensive line and you're not really controlling anybody like how I do it in my gameplay. You're going to want to turn this to 58. And then tackling, there's just too many times tackling just doesn't work out. This helps that a little bit. I just turned it up to 55. I turned it up for the CPU as well, but this helps out slightly. Again, these may need to be adjusted in version 2, so be checked back, whenever that is available. Probably another couple weeks after we get some gameplay throughout. For this next section, we have the CPU skills. So quarterback accuracy, we turned down to 40. The quarterback in our simulation has just been killing it. They'll go like 30 for 35. Which is just not realistic whatsoever. So we turned this down a little bit. Pass blocking turned down 2 by 2 from 50 to 48. Wide receiving catching, we also turned down to 45. The wide receivers just catch pretty much everything. So this has helped that a little bit. We turned the run blocking up to 52. Their run blocking was probably similar as ours, but so we turned it up just a hair. Fumbles, we kept the same. Pass time or pass defense reaction. This is really critical. One, because their defense is just absolutely absurd. They will not be facing you whatsoever, and they'll just 180, just beeline for the ball and get a pick. With that in mind, we turned the picks down, or the interceptions down to 38. Their interception rate is insane. Yes, I'm probably not the greatest player, and I probably throw it into double coverage way too often, and it probably should get picked if that was real life. But to make it more realistic and not see picks every freaking possession, we turn this down to 38. You'll start to get better, and so you can develop this. I would still leave it here just because it provides more deflected passes and stuff, which is more true to real life. Next, we have pass coverage, similar to pass defense time or reaction time. We turn this down a lot just because they're so good. They're like white on rice. They will be right next to you the whole time. You're not even going to get a window to throw it in. And this has helped a little bit with the interceptions as well because they're just not right on top of you, which was the issue we were facing a lot with playing on All-American. Well, Heisman mostly, but has reduced it a little bit in All-American. And the next is tackling at 55. So this one's going to also be benefiting them, just similar to yours. Tackling, I think it helps a lot because they miss tackles just as much as you do. This helps them reverse that. So this last portion, we're going to do special teams and game options. We didn't change anything in special teams because I feel like it's honestly pretty good and seems pretty realistic. Field goal accuracy, I know this has been pretty difficult for a lot of people I've seen on social media. So if you want to go ahead and turn this up, it probably won't harm you in any way. It'll just help you a lot. But once you get used to it, you can probably turn it down to 50. The one thing we did change is the minimum player speed threshold down to 25. It was on 50. So basically, I think that just means everybody below 50 just gets bumped up to 50. So there's a greater disparity of speed. So your slow guys are going to be slow. Your fast guys are going to be faster than your slow guys. So it'll work out better. More like real life. You don't want linemen catching up to wide receivers. It's just not realistic. And then the penalties we haven't changed yet. In version 2 of this, we're going to go through the penalties and stuff. I just haven't had enough playing time and stuff. I know that everybody's getting, roughing the kicker and stuff. I don't want to turn this off necessarily because when you do rough the kicker, you should be penalized for it. I know that the AI just does it way too often. Maybe you can turn off running into the kicker, but it's definitely roughing the kicker that gets called all the time. I'm not really sure how to fix that. They're going to have to update the game in some way because the AI just runs into him way too frequently, especially when it's field goals or punts. It's really irritating and you lose possession of the ball. So they're going to have to fix that at some point. I don't want to turn it completely off because when you run into a guy, you should be penalized for it. One last thing before getting out of here, something I just turned on recently, like I think probably a couple hours ago, was defensive heat seeker assist. So this is what you want to turn on if you are having issue running into a guy. There's been multiple times where I run in and touch shoulders with the player and I don't get the tackle. I'm not saying you don't have to wrap up the guy and bring him down, but this is a video game and this provides a little bit of benefit. So I have it on and I have it turned to 30%. And that's all I have turned on here. I do have controlled player art. So if you're wondering how players can see where they are on the field or like what they're running, like if it's a blitz or a man-to-man or a zone, this will show you that this is a setting you want to turn on if you want to see that feature. So with that, guys, that comes to the end of the video. I appreciate you all tuning in today. Don't forget to check out any of our other college football 25 content. And if you like what you saw today or if you like any of that stuff, please drop a sub. I would really appreciate it. It helps out immensely. Drop a comment below. It helps out the algorithm. And I honestly want to see what you all and how you all like this one. If you think it sucked, let me know. I can change it. I'll workshop it behind the scenes. If you like it or enjoyed it, if you even think it makes it a little bit better, let me know in the comments. But again, guys, I appreciate you and I hope you all tune back in for the next one, and I'll catch you in the next video.